Today's episode, 2013 Dodge Journey. Common problem with these: rear alignment gets wrecked and it wears the crap out of your tires. These are brand new tires. Time to fix the alignment problem. Beautiful day, so we got the door open. You'll hear some cars go by. Let's get down to it. We have, is this flashlight working? Yeah. All right, we got two bolts. We got a bolt right here. That's just a straight through bolt, nothing fancy. Same story right here. Bushings wear out, it ruins your angle, and your tires wear out fast. This side, regular bolt here, right here are your problem childs. There's your alignment bolt. You can see I marked it, so we know where it goes back in. But we got new hardware for it. So we're gonna use those as a reference. The alignment shop will finish it up right there. Here's your nut on this side. They will finish up your alignment. Your next control arm that we're not doing today is this big one. We have our strut connected to it. Pretty straightforward. Take the bolt out, it dangles. Sway bar link, same story. One single through bolt here, and then let's turn the camera. I'm on a stand, and we got another bolt here. So if you were wanting to attempt these, it's not too hard to do. It's not like the style with the coils that sit in it or whatever. And you're just gonna want some sort of jack so that you could raise the arm up and down. Easy one to change. We're not doing that today. Let's work on the two laterals. And then of course our last control arm would be our trailing style arm here. We're not touching that, nothing wrong with it. Let's get down to business. We have wire brushed all our threads and soaked them twice in PB Blaster. We have all our tools that I used for the other side up here. The most important being that water, because it's kind of toasty. And we got a few things here. Here is our aftermarket alignment hardware, greasable, really nice. Let's get you a part number right there. Pause it if you have to. It's upside down. K100 403. We have our standard replacement lifetime warranty Moog for the lower. Part number is right there, 642901 with the RK in front. And we have our heavy duty adjustable link right here for the top. That's pretty sweet. And there's our part number right there. Bada boom. So we're gonna have no problem aligning this afterwards with the adjustable. Super awesome. Really just a couple bucks more than a regular one. Moog does it right. Good brand. We're gonna take our most of these are gonna be 18 millimeter bolts and nuts. Get her spinning. Grab your 18 millimeter wrench. Ooh, she was on there good. Toasty. That was awkward. Like it broke free right away and then it just... I believe we got a 15 millimeter here on our bottom. We can go through with the impact if it has enough balls to get it off. We're gonna find out. 15 millimeter on one side of this alignment hardware. Let's get you a better look. Camber. All right. Let's grab a long extender as well. Ooh, this one's marred up. Yeah, we got our 19 millimeter on this side and our 15 on the other. Yeah, you see, we just can't quite get to it. We're gonna have to go by hand like we did on the other side. I mean, it was on there so good. All right, we're gonna start off with the nut side. Oh, mama. You can see it's pretty crusty. Pretty crusty. All right, we swivel this arm down and you can see how much play we get in between the two sides. And these are froze right into the internal metal sleeve of this arm. So it's a lot faster and more affordable to bust out a Sawzall. Right there, you see the metal sleeve on the inside, then it's rubber, then it's back to metal. And it sees to that. You're gonna have to use a torch, air chisel, press style technique to get them out without ruining them, or torch them. If you use the torch, it gets all smelly and nasty and fiery. So the best way, traffic's crazy today, semis, jeez. Best way to do it is to grab yourself a cordless Sawzall with a Diablo blade. Don't buy those cheap Harbor Freight blades or anything. Get the Diablo. They're worth the money. $27 for like a 5-pack. I got it in my Amazon store. They will just save you such a heartache. So we're gonna go right on this edge. We're through one side. Now it's time to hit the other side. Felt like I was running out of juice there at the end. I love these blades. Alright, now we get a little hammer tap. Boop, for our little bolt end. And we'll take a little 3/8 extender to go through this side. Go. Get the other side out. Let's grab our new part. This is our lower toe link, lateral link, whatever you want to call it. We'll take our hardware from here. We'll put a little grease on it. We do not want to have to deal with adjusting these a year or two down the road and they're seized up again because we're in the rust belt. So I take some Still Glide AGS. That's also in my Amazon store. It holds up over the years against heat and all that, so I just coat it. We are gonna slip this bad boy into where it goes. Alright, it doesn't want to go in there, and that's alright. And just get her up into place or close to it. There we go. Now for our greasing on our alignment hardware. We're going to put our plate against there. We have a grease fitting that's going to go on there. We're going to put that on last. Right before we grease it, put a little grease on our new alignment hardware. And really, we don't have to. This has grease syrup. It's in it. And we're going to grease it later. So we don't have to do it. But we're going. I'm going to put the bolt facing this way through there. Line it up so that it sits in the slots. See, there's a slot. It's hard to see with all the rust. There's a slot there and there. It's sitting in its slot. We got our other plate that on there. Get it in its slot. And we are just gonna start this nut till it kind of snugs up by hand. Nothing too crazy. Just so it keeps our plates in the slots. My hands are a little greasy. I'm gonna grab the ratcheting wrench. It's 18 on this side. This hardware is really weird. It gets real loose and then tighter and then real loose. I figure it's because of those flat spots on the hardware. It just kind of is cutting through imperfections. Really annoying. Come on. There we go. Now we need our 19 on the other side to get it back where it belongs in the slots. I kind of fell out of them because it was so hard to thread on. It's just shimmy shaking everywhere. There we go. Get that 19 to hold onto there. You want to get it just tight enough that it won't fall out of its little cradle, its little slots, its little homes, whatever you want to call it. We still want it to wiggle jiggle. All right, where did I put that other bolt? There it is. We come through with this one. And this will take a little bit of maneuvering. We'll pull it forward a little bit. We're going to adjust this hardware so that it extends out that way. There we go. And as you spin this hardware here, it brings the arm in and out. Now we got to line up our other side. It's a little high for the bolt to go through. So we're going to take a little pry in between this. Oop, went too far. Now we're pretty close. Hammer it through. All right, that didn't want to go through. Little sucker. Let's adjust it again. We need to adjust it so it comes in. There we go. Now we can see clearly it's lined up. Beautiful. And we're just going to get everything snugged up here. We're not doing final torque on anything yet until we have everything we want replaced. Here's our new arms. And what I'm going to do for these new adjusters, We're gonna dig out of our pile the piece we cut off. See that? We're gonna line it up so that our mark, this was this end, is facing this way. So it wants our nut to be over here. So we gotta spin it. Looks like clockwise. That's not clockwise. We'll grab our other side. Look right here, and our nut is basically in the same spot. Our nut is in that lower left corner. Pretty close. That's where we thread our grease fitting on. We'll grab our grease fitting, and that's going to be a 7 or 8 millimeter. That's going to screw right onto there. We'll have to tighten that up later on. We'll give it a little turn and shoot some grease in there with our grease gun. Right there. Grease gun, shoot some grease in. Lower arm complete. Let's raise up and raise up our stand. There we go. All right. Next one, we got some hardware here to take off. This is our upper adjustable, which is going to allow us to adjust our alignment within spec now, because there was no way to adjust it into spec, and the lower adjusters were froze. So let's grab our 18 right here, our gun, and our 18 wrench for the other side so it doesn't spin, and zip her off. You see I have my jack stand right there on the lower control arm, just with no upwards pressure, just a hair, so that it keeps everything in place. We gotta do an upside down deal here to stay away from the brake line. Where'd that nut roll off to? Gotcha, sucker. All right, now we get to take the bolt out. We're just gonna walk it out with the gun. Walked out quite a ways. Now we give it a little force with our wrench. Your control arm will move forward a hair. That's no big deal. Once you fret, it'll be all right. There's that bolt. All right, here we go. Now this one is not frozen like the lowers. Those lower hardware like to freeze in because they have the flat spots and corrosion buildup. This one, we're gonna get our ratchet in right up through here and a bar on it. And then we have a nut on this side for an open end of a wrench once that starts spinning. Let's get an angle that might possibly be helpful, that you can see what I'm doing. Come on, focus, camera, focus. Let's see. It's not really a good angle to watch. Here we go. Maybe I can zoom in from this angle. There we go. That's the end of our control arm we're replacing. And that's the inside. We're gonna go with a ratcheting breaker bar. Maybe that'll be the best route. We're gonna need our 18 millimeter wrench, and we'll put that on the nut. Open face style, baby. Ain't no style like open face style. We'll just set that there for now. Grab our 18 off the Ryobi. Lefty loosey, you know the drill. All right, come on, baby. All right, it is not letting me stay on there. The head of the bolt's a bit rusty. All right, looks like we're making headway now. It is pointed upwards, and my flex head doesn't flex upwards enough. All right, it is coming out of there. I wonder if an 18 mil ratcheting wrench would be better for what angle this puppy's at. All right, this one is not as bad as the other side. It's coming out a lot easier. So the ratcheting wrench does work. It's tight quarters, a little annoying, but not too bad. It'd be nice to have somebody to hold the wrench on the open face for me. Maybe with enough swivels, I could hit this with the Ryobi. If I put some universals or swivel sockets, swivel wobble extenders on. All right, we'll just finish her off by hand. That's what she said. So annoying because you got this axle in the way. You're at an upward angle. Come on. Just an annoying spot, but it's coming. You can get a ratchet in there as well. Just don't know what strategy is better. Every different strategy is annoying. It's got to be pretty close, if not there, right? Felt like it started doing something different. Come on, sucker. It was finger loose and then decided to tighten back up on me again. There we go. Woo! Took all my finger strength. Aha! Success. Got it out. Doesn't look too bad either. A little wire wheel, a little grease on the threads. All right, done. Now for our new part. I'll give you the lowdown on this bad boy. This has a grease fitting and instructions. And what you're supposed to do is make sure that you have the same amount of threads on one end as you do another on these. Let's see. There we go. There's one end and there's another. So what I'm going to do is bottom out both ends, the adjuster nuts. I want them to bottom out. This side doesn't want to bottom out. It doesn't want to spin right there at the end. That's not cool. It's all right. I'll force it. It's kind of ridiculous. Like it has a bad thread right at the beginning. The weld's a little bit in the way. Oh, what you gonna do? Parts these days. It's going. Just needed a little persuasion. All right. Zoom out. All right. As you spin this one way, it loosens both sides or extends or contracts. So we're going to leave our jam nuts so that they are all the way in the inward position. Everything's as tight as it gets. There we go. Tight, tight, bada boom. As you turn the big hex, it's like a 1 1/16 on these. As you turn the big hex, it extends both directions equally. There's also a stopping point with a line on these. And if you get to that point, that means you're hyperextended and you don't want to be that far out. You shouldn't ever get to that point. If you do, there's something terribly wrong. We're going to shove it in this side. Let's wire wheel our hardware and put a little grease on it right quick. That was the wrong hardware I just showed you. That one looked clean. It's just a one. All right, we start the bolt all the way through. Use our fingers, the tips of our fingies, and put that nut in there. And then get her to start. And we can thread this in snug all the way by hand now because we wire wheeled and greased it. Makes it a lot easier. There we go, that's pretty close. We did shoot back a little bit with our control arm, and that's fine. Now what we're gonna do is turn this whole sucker right here with our big wrench so that we don't have to pry on anything, and we can just put it in real nice and easily. But we have to hold the unattached end still. We want even, perfect movement. And that's gonna be, if you're looking at it clockwise to extend the bar. Now we can just do it by hand. That's what she said. Stop it. You're not funny. As we spin this giant hex nut connector, we are extending our lateral link control arm. And this is going to adjust that camber angle. And these guys are going to adjust your toe angle. All right, that's right there. That's money, dude. Let's see if you guys can see that on camera. There. Here's our big hex we were spinning. I'm going to connect right here. We have our bolts. Let's grease our bolt for the next guy. The next guy will be thoroughly happy that we did that. If he doesn't have to do any torching or anything, that's a win. All right, which way did this bolt go in? Honestly, I don't think it matters. Yeah, it went in this way. Even though I don't think it matters. I'll let my OCD get the best of me. There we go. She's in there. All right, now we're gonna measure our old arm, which I measured out at 12 inches. Center hole to center hole. See, center hole to center hole, 12 inches. So we wanna make sure we're not like off by a crazy amount or anything. So we're gonna go center of our back bolt here to center of our forward facing bolt. And we are at, oh, we're right on 12 inches, right on the money. You gotta be kidding me, that's nice. All right, seeing how we're on money, now we take our jam nuts. Is this one that was a little stiff? Yeah, I think it is. Can't spin it by hand yet. You gotta take your jam nuts and jam them. So we're gonna spin these clockwise. It's gonna move down the shaft to the giant hex. The other side I had no problem fingering these. This one, there we go. First couple threads are real close to the factory weld. We're gonna get this nice and tight. Whoop, it's spinning the other end. Let's turn it back that way. There we go. We're gonna spin our other nut clockwise as well, which is gonna jam into the back. And that's what we have this adjustable hammer for, is to hold this guy still so we can tighten our jam nut into it. There we go. And if you want to adjust your camber, you're gonna just loosen those two adjuster nuts and you're able to go in or out. Pretty cool, huh? All right, the hard part is getting your big wrench in here to tighten right in here. It's an awkward angle, but you can do it. There we go. Like to get a little more oomph on it if I can. I think I got it pretty good though. All right, we good. Go straighten our bushing out so that our bushing looks straight in there before we do our final torque on these back nuts. We have our grease nipple right here. Grease nipple. It's gonna go in there. When we get everything tight, we are going to grease this nipple and our alignment hardware nipple. And basically you guys get the gist. We gotta tighten this bolt all the way up, tighten those back ones all the way up, tighten up. Woo, almost knocked my camera over. Tighten this up, and then we got our, come on camera, work with me here. Then we got our toe adjuster bolts right there to tighten up. Make sure they stay lined up with that mark, you know, that they don't move. So just tighten the nut on this side really tight, because the way it moves is tightening this side. So if you want to adjust your toe, you loosen this nut, just loosen it, and then you turn that, and that's how you adjust. All right, make sure your Moog print is facing face up on your part. And am I forgetting anything? All right, so all four of those bolts you're gonna tighten with the weight of the suspension on the vehicle. So you're supposed to put your tire back on, lower the vehicle, and then tighten all your bolts. We are going to simulate weight on the vehicle with a jack. Spin our jack up, tighten all four bolts, grease them. I still need to tighten my grease fittings all the way and put the tire back on. Those were 19 millimeter lug nuts on the tire, and torque those to spec. And, that's about it, guys. Now it can go out for alignment. Thanks for watching. See ya.